For those of you, thank you, Nala. So, welcome to the session. Nice to see some new names and new faces to our topic this evening. I think most of you know me, so I don't need an introduction, but I'm very excited to welcome back Nala to this session, who's our marketing consultant at Invicta Med. Hi, Nala.
Hello,
And
everyone.
this evening, we have Poppy Owen as a very special guest contributor to the session. Welcome, Poppy.
Thank you. I'm so excited to contribute this evening. We're going to have lots of very interesting conversations and discussions. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Amazing. So if there's anybody on the group who would like to say a quick hello and introduce themselves, you're more than welcome to do that and just unmute yourself for a few seconds. No worries if you can't switch on the audio or the video.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, Dr. Shiva. Welcome back.
Pleasure to see you all again.
Thank you so much. Dr. Shiva is an aesthetic doctor, regular member with us. We have Dr. Azaiba, who is an aesthetic practitioner and laser specialist as well. Lovely to see you.
Hello, Sawan. Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you, Dr. Azaiba. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It's so lovely to be here. I already feel the positivity and the energy, the vibe is really nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Happy
It's
to
going to
be
keep
here.
going up. This is just the beginning. So we have with us as well Dr. May, who is a regular member of ours, and she's a pediatric dentist. Welcome back, Dr. May.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much. Miss Elvina, she's a new guest this evening. I think you are in the aesthetic field as well. Who else do we have? Doa?
Sorry, yes. I work as a beauty and laser therapist.
Great. Thanks for joining. Happy to have you on board.
Thank you.
Dr. Afrin, she's a practitioner, medical practitioner, and clinic manager. Welcome to the session this evening.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm so
Hi.
sorry I can't on my with you. I'm traveling.
No worries.
I'm happy to be here. I'm just looking forward for this session.
Thank you so much. And we have also Doa with us, who is a pharmacist and aesthetic therapist, regular member of ours. So thank you for being here. I think we'll have a few more joiners. Hi, Doa. Cool. So I think we'll have more joiners as we go along. We would love to make it as interactive as possible. If you'd like to have a quick share on why you are here tonight and what's the kind of information and tips that you would like to grab that perhaps we have not shared with you so far on those regular sessions, it's your time to share with us. Let us know. Why is the topic interesting for you?
We always try our best to promote ourselves on social media. Sometimes one video will really boom, and then sometimes the other video will be dead. And then you are very excited when you boom, and then when it goes down, the excitement and your energy go down, and then you're like, okay, I lost interest, and you give up. So how do we keep the energy going? How to make it always, should we give up really, or should we just say, okay, it's a phase, it didn't work, then maybe the next one will work? So this is my point, like how to keep going and how to always aim to the stars.
Awesome. Consistency is key, and our very special ladies this evening will be there to boost you up, I'm sure. Thanks for sharing.
100%.
Okay, well, let's get started. If there's any other thoughts that you'd like to share or tips that you need to grab tonight, we have the chat box. So you can just also drop your comments or requests in the written chat box. We'll keep an eye on it. So welcome to Invicta Med webinar sessions. This is part of our membership program that we have created for you to keep learning on a regular basis. So we conduct these webinars twice a month, and they're here to keep inspiring you on business, marketing, and career topics. So what we do is we help practitioners succeed with their careers and their marketing strategy Why? Because your expertise is healthcare, your expertise is not business or marketing, and this is ours. So we're here to share what we know with you and help you get further. So happy to have you all on board. And I'm Savan, I'm the founder of Invictamed. And this evening I have with me Nala, who is absolutely passionate about all things social media and all things marketing. You will learn a lot from her this evening. Nala is our marketing consultant. Welcome, Nala, and thank you for running this.
Yeah, thank you so much. Lovely to be here. Yeah, to give a very, very quick introduction of myself, I am Nala. Many of you have seen me before on some of these webinars. For those of you who haven't, I am a medical marketing specialist. I am a 360 marketeer, so I do everything social media and I do everything, let's say, not digital marketing as well. I have been helping clinics strategize their marketing and leverage their let's say patient presence in the market for a couple of years now, and I'm really excited to share some tips and tricks with you tonight on how to appear on camera, how to do it successfully, and also definitely Dr. May will come back to your question of how to keep things consistent as well, not just ups and downs.
Thanks, Nala. We'll move on to Poppy. Poppy is a new guest contributor with us. I met Poppy at a conference, so it shows the power of networking that we were talking about, I think, just a couple of webinars ago. So I had the pleasure of moderating a marketing panel discussion with Poppy at the Professional Beauty Conference. And I found that Poppy had a lot of expertise and similarities with the topics that we discussed. So I was so excited to have her contribute to this webinar. Poppy has been in the marketing field for, I believe, more than 15 years. She's based out of Dubai and she's a business and marketing coach. And she is going to tell you more about herself. Welcome, Poppy.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I have so many things that I've done over the years. I've built multiple businesses, but the theme throughout all of my businesses that I've built is it's been solely built on strategizing, marketing myself on social media. That has 95% of clients have come through social media. My life is social media. I'm a content creator. All of my work is online. So I'm very up to date with trends, what's working, what's not working, so that it can build not only your business and bringing clients in, but equally your personal brand, your team's brand, and bringing that through to social media as well. So I'm super excited to be sharing with you everything that I know that will enable you to grow your confidence and showing up on camera and through your social media. So yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
That's awesome. Thanks, Poppy. Really excited to have you on board. So tonight we're going to talk about how to be camera confident on social media. But it's not just your confidence, which we know is not always easy to get when you have a camera in front of you, but it's especially how that engages your audience. And ultimately, you're converting those viewers into actual patients. So that's it for me this evening. Over to Nala and Poppy, and please enjoy the session.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, that's I think that sums up what we're going to be talking about. But before we delve a little bit deeper into the topic, I want to actually hear from you. If you are experiencing inability, I guess, or lack of want for any reason to not appear on camera as a doctor, even though you feel that you have to appear on camera, what is it that's stopping you from doing so? So what's stopping you from showing up on video? Anybody?
Well, I usually don't have problem with camera. It's not something that I've experienced as much.
Okay. Okay, so for most people that I've seen, most, let's say, clients that I've consulted with Servan, the most thing that keeps most people away is the fear of judgment. Okay, so they're scared, oh yeah, people are gonna judge me if I say this or if I do this or if I post that. There's also that perfectionism that I think a lot of people have. If it's not perfect, I'm not going through with it. If it's not exactly how I expect it to be, I'm not going through with it, etc. And then also not knowing what to say is a little bit less common, but it is something that I do hear from a lot of people. They're like, when I talk to a patient, I know exactly what to say. When somebody asks me, should I go for this treatment or that treatment, I know exactly what to say in the clinic. But then when it comes to time to actually shoot the footage, shoot the videos, I'm like completely stuck, frozen. I don't know what to say. And what I would like to start with is to actually compare how Reels, or let's say video content on Instagram, compares to non-video content, so posts, carousels, let's say text, or pictures, I suppose. So these are statistics from last year. Okay, and I'll share the studies with you on the group if anybody's interested afterwards. But essentially, research shows that video content performs or has 2 times the engagement as non-video posts. Okay, so people engage with it 2 times more. It turns out that it has at least 2.3% higher reach and 95% higher message retention. So by message retention here, we mean that people are actually hearing whatever it is that you're going to say, and 95% of those people are hearing it, and they're hearing it well, compared to posts, which, means just writing something or showing a picture. So 1000%, we know that in 2025, it is vital for you to be able to show up on camera and to do it well. So before we start, maybe Poppy, if you have a comment on this as well, perhaps what you've seen.
Yeah, in terms of even holding people back, a lot of people just get caught up in the fear of judgment, perfectionism. The reality is nobody, like, I'll be totally transparent. The number one reason why I sometimes haven't shown up on camera is because of how I feel within myself on that day. For example, I don't want to show up on camera if I haven't got makeup on. I don't want to show up on camera if I'm not looking my best self. And I was in the beauty industry for 8 years. So for me, it was a case of, well, I fear that I'm getting judged on showing up if I'm not presented as my best self and how I feel within myself. So that would sometimes stop me showing up on camera and taking action because I had, but what are people going to think about me? I'm not presenting my best self. So what are people going to think? Will they, all of these kind of things. But the reality is the people who are watching your content actually does not care how you look, how you present yourself. Well, they do in a sense of how you present the information and the value, but in terms of how you look and all of these kind of things, they actually don't care. They do not care about that. All they care about is the value that you can provide them, because the reality is they only care about themselves. The patients who are looking at your content, the potential clients that are looking at your content, they only care about themselves. Going to get from this piece of content that is going to change my life, that is going to make a situation better, that's going to provide a solution to a particular problem that I am currently experiencing. That is what they are watching your content for. So in terms of eliminating that fear of judgment, that was a pivotal moment for me that everything changed in terms of, well, I have a really great piece of content that's going to impact loads of people watching my stories today. That is the main priority. That's how I want to present the information. So there's lots of different ways of presenting really valuable information. That doesn't mean that you have to show up. It can be using content that you have previously shot, but we'll go into more strategies and things that you can do in terms of the content that you can create to be really proactive and just repurposing things that you've already got, that will eliminate all of those kind of things as well. So yeah, so that was one of the things that really kept me held back in terms of showing up on camera for a long time. So yeah, so that's what I would like to add to that.
Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah, there's definitely 100%. There's a huge truth in that. I think people are constantly looking to see, what's going to impact them. So I think a really nice way to step into the mind of the viewers to ask what's in it for me as the viewer, you as the content creator, you as the speaker, is just always ask, if I was watching this, what's in it for me? And to kind of start delving a little bit into the strategies section of things to just kind of ease all of these things, perfectionism, not knowing what to say. I think following a really kind of easy structure to begin with is always just a little bit helpful. So of course, there's many ways to create content, right? There is you can do it in a storytelling format and maybe a B-rolls, using, let's say, repurposing clips and putting them all together and creating a really nice concept from that. There's voiceovers, there is a million other, there's a million ways to create content, let's say, but I think one of the easiest ways is just to sit down in front of the phone, record something spoken that's really simple to understand, but that has enough value and experience that it actually performs. And I think a really good structure for that would be hook, and then what I call the teach section, or let's say the middle bit, and then the call to action. And there's a lot to discuss here because there's a lot of many different types of hooks, many different types of teach, and then there's a lot of many different types of calls to action. And I'll go through each one of these just quickly, giving you a couple of examples that I've recently seen to work, especially for the medical sector. Now, a hook is about the 3 to 5 first seconds of the video, and it's actually what's going to be the scroll stopping moment. Okay, somebody is just scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, and it's what's actually going to make people stop and listen to you. Now, there's a million types of hooks, but some of the most popular ones are of course, the verbal hook. Okay, it's what you say. Maybe top 3 mistakes that people make. This is a pretty corny one. Let's say it's an overused one, but that would be an example of one. Top 3 mistakes I made as an entrepreneur in 2025. 6 reasons why I'll say no to a patient would be a good one. Other verbal ones would be, I used to sleep in my car, and today I own a multi-million dollar company, or something like that. Something that makes people kind of be like, oh, whoa, let me listen to her or him. So that's the verbal hook. A text hook is something that appears on the screen. So it might be that you're immediately speaking in the video and then you write something really shocking on the screen that makes people stop. The last one that I'm going to discuss today, again, there's a lot, but another one would be a visual hook. So maybe you're talking about breast implants and you're actually holding a breast implant. Studies show that apparently if you hold something in a video in the first 3 to 5 seconds, it actually creates curiosity and it forces people to watch content, or not forces, but let's say entices people to watch the piece of content. The teach bit is where the magic happens. Okay, so now you've done the work in the hook. You've written something, or you've said something, or you've shown something that made people stop. Now, this is the part that you as a doctor need to be excellent in the information that you're going to provide. Okay, so social media is filled with information to the brim. Everybody has something to say. Everybody has something to teach. But what a lot of people don't have is experience, and they don't have wisdom. Okay, so when you talk on social media, the last thing you want to do is to add information that's repeated or that everybody has said. Face filler causes pillow face. Everybody said this. Okay, so instead, what you want to do is you want to add your own wisdom and your own experience. So maybe you want to say some sort of hook. This is the story of how I made a patient cry last week. This would be a great hook. Next is the teach part. as an aesthetic doctor who's been in the industry for about 30 years, the last thing I'll do is I'll say yes to a patient that I know I should have said no to. And I would never put my license on the line or something, just because I don't want to offend somebody. If somebody comes to me with lips that look like these, and then maybe you put a picture of lips that look like these, I would never let them do this because one and two and three. So this is showing experience and wisdom, and it also shows how long you've been doing something. And then the last thing is the call to action. And of course, the call to action is how you're going to entice people to do the next thing, right? Maybe they're going to go to your website, or maybe they're going to do something to keep, maybe they're going to follow you, maybe they're going to like the video, whatever it is that you want to say. Now, call to action used to be thought of as something that was overdone and a little bit corny. Follow this page if you like more something something. But there's somebody called Mr. Beast who's recently done a really thorough study on call to action, and it turns out that call to action works. Okay, even though it's been overdone, everybody's like, yeah, follow this page if you like this, or like this video if you related. But actually, by doing that, people really do follow and they really do like, so it's not a bad strategy. But I'm going to share one little tip today that I've seen has been working tremendously well on content, is a call to action of saying, comment this word below and we'll send you the full list. Or we'll send you this, or we'll send you that piece of information. So for example, let's go to the same example of the video that I gave. This is the story of how I made a patient cry last week. She came to me with these types of lips and I said no to her, something, something. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to close it with, if you're curious whether, you have filler blindness and you don't know when to stop, or you can't seem to stop, or you need some help with this, whatever, comment below filler and we'll send you a link for a consult call or something like that. And you can use something called ManyChats, and ManyChats is a platform that essentially automates this type of messaging for you. If anybody has any more questions on ManyChats or how to do this type of call of action, do message me on the group as well, and I'll give you a little bit more information. By the way,
Yes, if you can put the instructions how we can put these automated replies to the comments.
100%, yeah. Yeah, 1000%. I'll send a link to ManyChats, how to download it, and then also how to create these automated messages, because it turns out that people do actually they do actually comment, and it really does work. So this is a great way to call people to action. Great. Does anybody have any questions regarding this structure bit? Or Poppy, if you'd like to add anything as well.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah, go for it. Question.
Hello.
You got a question?
Yes, I have a question. So when you say hook, does the hook, obviously it would differ as per the business. For example, clinic, somebody who's into dentist, somebody who's a dentist, somebody who's into gynecology. So the hook would differ as per the field that you are in. So how do we get to know what would hook our kind of client or our kind of a clientele?
Yep.
I've got
Yep.
That's such a great question, and I'd love to answer this for you. So this has been my marketing and social media strategy for the past 8 years, and it's brought me in over 7 figures of Great British pounds in sales. I want you to think about a conversation that you have had with a patient, a client in the last 24 hours. When they came to you, what was the primary problem that they are currently facing? What are they experiencing? What do they want to solve? Now, for example, if somebody, let's for example say, let's say lips, for example. So if somebody said to you, they came to you and said, I feel like my lips have migration and they've lost their shape and they're looking overfilled now, and I just don't know what to do about it. If they came to you with that particular problem, how I would use this is that conversation that you have had with that client, with that patient. I would use this as content. So any particular problem that they've brought to you, you use it for content. That would be your hook. So it's asking the question. So it'd be like, are you finding that when you look at the mirror, your lips are not the same shape that you had a year ago, and you find then that they're migrated a little bit and you just don't know what to do about it? That would be your hook, because what you're doing is you're addressing an ideal client specific problem that they have come to you with. It's from their mouth. They've said that to you. How many other people are going to feel like that too? So you can use that for your hook to literally and be like, yes, I am going through that right now and I just don't have a solution for it. What that's going to do is it encourages them to then go on to the teach part. So you as the expert can offer your expertise and what they need to do about that particular situation. So that's where the authoritative content comes in. You're the expert, so they're going to be listening to you. And then when you provide the solution is always to come and see you, right? To come in to see you, to have the treatment, have the consultation, have the whatever they need as a solution. So then you would give them a call to action. So it'd be like, if you want to have a free consultation about this, comment or DM the word, put a word, and then that encourages a conversation. Now, what that does is it creates a huge relatability factor because they are currently experiencing that particular problem. So this is a really great and easy way to think about your content. Just think about your clients that you've seen in the last 24 hours, in the last week, in the last month. How many other people out there are going to be experiencing exactly the same thing? So you're not wondering like, oh, what do people actually want to see or hear? And you're trying to really think about that content where really it's all in front of you, ready to go. You just think about those conversations that you've been having recently.
Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah, now I get it.
Yeah, 100%. And then also, I think a really cool way to research what other hooks are working is to go to Instagram and to actually go to the Explore bar and just write keywords in your industry. Like, let's say you're an aesthetic doctor, so you'll just write Botox. You look it up and you look up videos that have, and you just like watch videos that have above 1 million, and you'll see that those hooks are the ones that have generally worked. So it's also not wrong to not want to reinvent the wheel, in terms of what works on social media. Um, so that could be like a way to influence your hooks if you want an easy way to do that. But 100 million, 1000% Poppy, that was amazing. Yeah, like use the stuff that's happening to you in real life as something to fuel your content. So Dr. Azaiba, I think.
Yeah, I got my answer actually. You said, I just wanted to know how to find out the viral. You said, things are just people, it should not be repetitive, right? So, how do we find what's trending and how can you find new things like, what's trending or what's going to trend in the future? So, as you said, I think you can go to the explore bar and type the keyword and probably select. Is that the way? Same way?
Poppy, do you want to take this one maybe?
Yeah, so sometimes when so if you go if you're specifically looking at Instagram, the explore page is great. Is it just shows you the algorithm that you've been currently looking for yourself, so it doesn't really show you exactly what you're looking for. It's just what you've been watching the most, essentially. But yeah, if you type into the search bar in terms of your particular niche and your industry, then things will come up relating to that particular industry. You can particularly do this on TikTok, like TikTok's huge with this. And actually, I don't know if they have this on Instagram, but on TikTok they have a creator insights page. And what you can do, this is gold, because you can see the most viral pieces of content, what people actually want to know in your particular niche as well. And it's all in a category. So it's really great at presenting that kind of information, especially on TikTok. So, and normally what tends to work on TikTok will definitely relate on Instagram as well. So
Yeah, 1000%.
perfect.
Awesome. So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How to speak with ease. Okay, so what works on social media? Okay, in terms of how to, this is, I think, possibly the number one question that I get from all of you and all the doctors that I've worked with. Nala, how do I speak in a way that makes me go viral? Okay, and I'm gonna share with you the number one tip, okay, that I have, and you might like it and you might not, but this is what I've gathered works, and it is authenticity. Okay, so I know everybody says go be yourself, do this, sound like yourself, but really, this is the only thing that works on social media in the long run. Because I have done it all, from putting on a persona, from scripting content, from doing really flashy big edits, forcing something on, and it's never worked long term. It might work for one video, it might work for two videos, but doctors that I have worked with, that whose content just took off, are doctors that were being themselves. They sound exactly the same on social media as they do in the clinic. So how do you do that? Okay. How do you actually talk in front of the camera to sound like yourself as if you are in front of a patient? And my number one trick for that is repetition. You have to do it again and again and again for you to kind of build that ease. Okay. A lot of people will have a lot of nerves when they're first starting to film. They're like, oh, I don't know, the camera's on and now I'm really nervous and I don't know what to say. So number one is do it again and again and again. Okay. Number two is don't script your content. And this is my strategy, my opinion. This is what I've seen worked. It's not necessarily wrong to script content, but it's just not what I would go for if you want to sound authentic and like yourself. Because it's one thing to say something in a way that's like read and in an adsy tone, and it's another thing to have a pointer in front of you. Let's say today you want to talk about lip filler migration. It's one thing to have a text written in front of you and you're reading it and half looking at the camera, half looking at the text, and it's completely another thing to just write pointers for yourself, like maybe like you can script your hook and then you can do one, two, three things that you want to discuss, and you discuss it normally as if you are describing it to a patient in a very, very spoken format. And then I would say the third thing that I've seen help a lot of the people that have consulted with Invictamed is actually have somebody there with you in the room, especially the first couple of rounds, and have that person prompt you. So have that person speak to you, ask you questions like, oh, really? You said that, but why? Like, why did you say that? Can you expand more on that? Can you ta-ta-ta? Like they become kind of your patient, and that tends to create some really nice, authentic content for you. And I would, yeah.
Can I just add something just to add on that, because that's such an incredible point. I want to just take it one step further to even make it more authentic. Set up the camera behind your consultations, your real life consultations, if your client or patient allows it. This is what is really going viral and getting so many views right now, is real life consultations. It particularly works with like hairdressers when they're having consultations, saying what they want doing and what result they want. They're showing pictures of inspiration to the camera and things like that. It's working across the whole board in terms of clinics, beauticians, all of these kind of things. So maybe you would obviously have to consent them being in the video, but you can shoot them from behind the head, so it doesn't show it would need consent. But there is a lot of people these days who are willing to be on camera, especially if they're in the younger generation as well. They love social media, they want to show themselves off, they want the exposure. This is what's really, really working right now. So the only thing that you would need there is a tripod with your phone on there, hit record it for half an hour. It doesn't matter. Then you can cut it all down into little bits and use the content for loads of different things. Like you can shoot it as the consultation, then you can shoot the behind the scenes, then you can shoot the B-roll, and all the different kinds of content. You've got multiple ways of and pieces of content for that one 30-minute video. And that way you don't need any scripts. You're dealing with things in your expert position, and people are seeing how you actually consult people and going through that process. So you're going to be exactly the same online than you are in person. So that might just make it a little bit easier for you as well.
Yeah, 1,000,000,000%. And I think a really good way to tie that up as well is to add a little text hook at the start, like just
Yeah,
explain what the video is and then immediately go into it. I think that's really awesome.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool. And then some of the other questions that I get all the time is when I film, should I look off to the distance? Should I look off like where I feel really awkward looking at the camera, but from what I've seen, two key things work really well. One is looking directly into the lens, of course. That's always, I mean, a great way to create content that demands attention, that demands respect, that people are like, okay, whoa, this person looks powerful. But another way, if you're not feeling too confident about actually looking directly into the camera, is again to position somebody right next to the camera and speak to them. Um, it actually creates this like idea of a podcast or like this cool, elegant look of you kind of looking off into the distance. And it kind of feels like it's in the middle of a conversation, which in itself is a good hook as well. Now, a very important thing other than eye contact is to watch out for your posture. A lot of the time, I find that when people get in front of the camera, especially for the first time, or they just get a little bit nervous in front of the camera, is it will actually show in their body language. So people will have slightly curled shoulders. A lot of the time, we place the mic directly here on the chest, so you'll find that a lot of people are talking like this, and they're not even paying attention. And what that does is creates this idea of a person who's just not as confident, a person who's just not going to be scroll stopping, not going to be somebody that I care to listen to. But if you've got your shoulders open, if you've got your chin, not up, you don't want to be demeaning, but you want to be powerful. So you want um, open body language. You want your chin up just enough so that you're in line with the camera. You want your eyes either to be on the person that's right directly next to the camera, or you want to look at the camera directly. And you definitely want a relaxed face, okay? So by relaxed face, I don't at all mean that you have to be all, influency and happy and smiley and all of that. Not at all. That's not at all necessarily what works on social media. Sometimes anger works and sometimes disgust works. All emotions work. They just have to be authentic to what you're feeling. But if you are talking about something, let's say scientific or something where you want to go delve a little bit deeper into the description or explanation, a lot of the time people have got these really serious faces that are just not as inviting, especially in the hook of the video. So I would definitely say either relaxed face or emotion, really emotion. Of course, 1,000,000% what works is energy. Okay, you want to focus a lot more on the type of energy that you're putting through onto the video rather than the polished, finished look, super edited, crispy content, because that stuff doesn't work in 2025 anymore. Big cuts and big flashy edits and all of that stuff. You need a really simple video with somebody who's just got great energy to pull and attract people. Yeah. Any questions on that so far? Or if Poppy, you want to add something as well?
No, I think that's right on the money. I think just however you present yourself in every day, just show that personality through the lens. because that's what people want, because they want to feel like they know you already before stepping into your place of work. They want to feel comfortable. They want to feel safe. They want to feel like you're not a stranger, you know? So bring that personality through as much as you can, because people crave that before stepping into your place of work.
Yeah, 100%. And actually to add on to that as well, really kind of trending type of comment that I've seen recently on TikTok is thank you for the FaceTime. So what people mean by commenting that under people's videos is that the content actually feels like a FaceTime, and that's actually not something bad to aim for. To, you know, if you've got a handheld, yeah, a handheld camera or phone that you're recording on, it's actually not a bad idea to create a really lovely type of environment that it feels like somebody's actually called you on FaceTime, and that's the type of video that you're creating, because it means that you came across as authentic, friendly, somebody who's maybe both knowledgeable but also really inviting as well. So, if I could ask you guys to maybe try it a little bit with us today, I want you to think of a video script that you wanted to do for a long time, maybe something that you're a little bit shy to talk about, but it's something in your field that you want to talk about. So I would ideally want you to write a small hook, or a hook. I guess a hook is always small. A hook, and then a tiny middle in bit. We don't want to make it too long. We don't want to extend the full video now, and then a small call to action based on what was mentioned, and then maybe we'll ask one or two of you to present it to us as well, if that would be okay.
I just had a quick question before we start about the call to action. What are we trying to aim for, like with the call to action, to have them DM us, come to I don't understand what should be the main thing, even when I'm running ads. So my agency would ask me, what do you want? Do you want them to message you? Do you want them to be sent to the website? So I have no idea. So what kind of call to action is appropriate and doesn't make us look salesy, but at the same time, converts.
Yeah. I could take that. Let me know if...
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So essentially, the purpose of a call to action is the content itself. You want them to bring it in and really feel like, oh my God, yes, I need this. And you want them to take action in that very moment, because you don't want them to carry on scrolling. You want them to essentially go off that social media platform to then making a decision and committing to that decision that they've made whilst reading your piece of content. So essentially, the essence is always booking in an appointment, booking a consultation. And what you want to do is you don't want to add too many steps beyond that piece of content, because people's brains are going a million miles an hour. And, if there's too many steps, they're like, oh, I haven't got time for this. They want quick, they want easy, they want to be booked in right there and then, essentially, right? So the call to action is always for them to take action. So essence of what the content is about, what do you want them to do in that moment? I'm gonna guess you want them to book an appointment, right? Or yeah. So what would be the easiest process for them to book an appointment from that very click? What do you want them to do? What would be your ideal scenario?
Send me a WhatsApp message, for example,
Okay,
because that's how I make my
perfect.
bookings.
Okay, awesome. So your call to action would be click this link and we'll get a conversation started straight away. Because what that does is it indicates it's an instant response, or it's an instant reply. So it eliminates that process of too many steps. They're getting something there and then, when they're in the moment, in the heat of the moment, where they've made a decision that they want to buy from you or want to book in with you. So you're making it as seamless as possible. So I'm going to guess the call to action is going to be click the link or head to this particular link and we'll get the conversation started. For example, that link would lead to your WhatsApp number. And
Yeah.
then so you're just directing them and telling them exactly what you want them to do, because people in this day and age don't want to think for themselves. They don't want to think, oh, what do I do next? Do I go to the website? You have to be the one to tell them exactly how you want to do business. And then that is going to be, because people want to be led. They want someone to direct them in how they take the next step, you know, and when they're led by somebody, led by you as a business, they're going to feel safe, they're going to feel secure, they're going to be like well looked after. So you tell them exactly what you want them to do, and then they're more likely to take action.
Right. Thank you. Yeah.
Sounds good. Does anybody want to volunteer to give us a little go with the video content? Maybe just give us like a 30-second little video.
I think I can go. For example, what I was thinking to do this week was that I wanted to have a short video about, nowadays this viral trend is going around that fillers are bad and they tend to stay in the body, and so I wanted to do a video on this based on studies. Like I wanted to share a study that shows that actually that is not the case. And yeah, that was what I have in my mind. And for me, I usually don't do call to action like very directly. I mean, I just put it in the caption. I don't want to appear as salesy. Like my page is like more of like an awareness kind of a page.
Yeah, so I just came up with a small structure in my head, but I'm curious with a call to action that I think could really raise engagement for you. But I'm curious to hear what would be an ideal hook for you, do you think? Just something on the spot that comes to you. Like, what's the
So
first thing you'd say?
I wanted to say this. I wanted to share this study with you about just a second, I forgot what I meant to say.
Sorry, I know I'm putting you on the spot. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect.
About about the real long-term side effect of fillers.
Nice.
This is what I had in my mind.
I love that. What if you were to say, so a really kind of easy way to stop people from scrolling is to tell them to stop scrolling. So don't say like stop scrolling because it's a bit overused. But if you were to say, if you stick around, I'm going to use science to prove to you that fillers are not as bad as they've been telling you they are.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
and then you'd actually go into it in a very scientific way, and then you'd do paper one, paper two, paper three, and you'd go through the conclusions. And sorry, I'm just speeding through this because we've got about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that would be a great way to start. And then you go paper one, paper two, paper three. And I also get this question a lot. Well, Nala, no, people are gonna be bored. They don't want to hear the science behind things. They don't wanna, I don't want to bore my people. Ask yourself this one question. Why do people watch National Geographic and why do they watch documentaries about birds and monkeys and bees and mountains we've never heard of and things like that? It's because people want to lie to themselves that through social media and through entertainment, they're actually learning something. Okay, so a lot of the time, what really happens to work on social media is videos that are very much backed up by science and that are very mathsy. So I find videos that trend are the ones that actually go into really scientific papers and they go into like the molecular levels of why Botox is really awful for you or why it's really good for you. And so if you go paper one, paper two, paper three conclusions, actually people are much more likely to listen than if you were to keep it very surface level. And then, Dr. Shiva, what do you think would be a good ending to that video? A call to action, quote unquote. I know you said you don't normally, but if you were to, what would you?
Call to action. What would I say? I would say this. I would tell them, if you think you have your old fillers are still stuck in your face, or if you feel like they're bothering you, you can come to my clinic. We can do a complimentary ultrasound and find out what's underneath.
Yeah, that's really, really powerful. I really like that. The only thing I would tweak is to actually add in what Poppy said, which is to make it really seamless and really simple, and just say, and if you know, if you're curious, if your old filler is still in your face, um,
Okay.
if you're curious that your old filler is still in your face, maybe use the link in my bio to book a direct free consultation with me, and let's figure this out or something. And then the link would, like Poppy said, make it really simple. The link would just immediately take you to the clinic's WhatsApp or something.
Mhm. Shall I say that if you're in Dubai, or no need to say that?
I mean, generally your content is going to be pushed to the region, and generally if somebody is not in Dubai, they're gonna click the link, watch the video, and if they're not in Dubai, they're not going to book. So it's actually good for them to click the link and interact with the page. And yeah, so it's not a bad idea for them to do that. I wouldn't say
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't think it's needed. But if you were to say it, there's no harm.
Okay.
Awesome.
I love those hooks. I think it's awesome. Another idea for you, very, very quickly. I would do something like having fillers in your face is the worst thing that you could possibly do. That would be the hook. The next bit of text would said no expert ever.
Mm. Oh, that's interesting.
And then let me give you the facts.
Nice.
Because why do people watch the news? Why do people listen to the radio? Because they cling on to negativity. They're like, shock. And then they're gonna stop and scroll and be like, oh my God, it's true. It's true what I've heard. And then they're gonna carry on reading on to your post. And then they're gonna be like, oh, actually, I've changed my mind. So another idea for you.
Nice. Nice. Super. Okay. So last kind of miscellaneous tips and tricks here for filming. So for filming the content, please don't feel pressure to use any fancy camera or any fancy anything. If you don't have access to those, your phone is more than enough. It turns out, again, another Mr. Beast study. Please don't look him up; he's awful. But he also makes some quite good research on social media. But so according to Mr. Beast's research, apparently content that actually is shot on the phone performs better because people are less likely to view it as an ad or that you're trying to sell them something. So do not shy away from using your phone. Good lighting is essential, but good lighting doesn't mean that you need fancy, huge studio lighting. It honestly just means natural light. The more inviting the content, the more warm it is, the better it will tend to, I think, attract people as well. A quiet space is not essential. I think it is preferred in the style of content that we're making, especially if it's a little bit informative. But a quiet space is not necessarily essential. I've seen lots of new content that really trends with people holding a mic and screaming into it in a very crowded area. So it's not essential, but it can be helpful. The last tip for me for tonight.
One point I would say,
Sorry.
and this would help me a lot recently, there is an option. So I used to record my videos with a mic, of course, but there's an option on CapCut. It cuts the noise. It really changes the voice quality. I feel like people can focus better.
Nice, 1,000,000%. There's the same one on CapCut as well that I find is really helpful. So that's definitely, yeah, to clean up your audio is always great. The last tip from me tonight is to batch film during clinic downtime. The number one complaint that I hear from doctors and clinicians is, Nala, I just don't have the time. I don't have the time to film social media content, but social media content is essential to the life of the clinic. Even if you've got patients now, the last thing you want to do is to enter that feast and famine cycle where it's like 1 month I've got so many patients and the next month I've got zero patients. And by building a really nice personal brand on social media, you actually enter this really nice stagnant performance where every single month you're guaranteed a number of patients, and maybe some months are amazing and way better, but you'll never have those really, really low dips of like, no one's coming to see me and it's a struggle. So definitely find the time when you can and batch film content. A lot of doctors are like, oh yeah, but I can't be wearing the same thing. Actually, you can if you're wearing scrubs, if you're wearing the white jacket, or even if you're just wearing a simple like black top or something, it doesn't matter. People are generally not going to be looking at your page as a landing page, which is another mistake that people do, is they think that people are viewing your page as like an entire page. Most of the time, they're only looking at the one video that's performed and they're moving on, until you, of course, start to build an audience and people begin to follow and engage, etc. If you would like to add something here, Puppy, as well, maybe a few miscellaneous filming tips.
Filming tips. I would say just hit the record button and kind of forget about it and just go as long as you can. Because if you kind of just forget about it and just keep talking and keep doing what you're doing, I think it's probably the easiest way, rather than getting worked up and having to stop and start and, oh, let me do that again. Don't even stop the recording, just carry on. That's
Yep.
what I would say. So yeah.
Yep, Dr. Ziba.
Just like to add, so I've seen like when I have a script and when I have every point written, I tend to forget because I tend to focus on more, oh, what will I forget? So as you said, just have the captions ready and just build up, and I think people prefer a conversational style rather than to, if you even go to Chat GPT, the language is not humanized. It's very mechanical, I mean, technical terms, which people do not understand. So keep it simple as possible for the layman. I said, do not use big medical jargons to confuse them more. Just to the point, very crisp and, very conversation style, I would say.
Could not agree more.
Yeah, that's such a great point. Because a lot when you're the expert, when you have a lot of knowledge, when you've got you've done all the degrees, done all the masters, all the things, you speak in a terminology that your ideal client doesn't actually understand. So, which is why my strategy is take the words from your patients or your clients' mouths and use it as your content, because that's going to be put in a way that people are always going to understand. They don't need to know the technicalities of it. That's what they pay you for. So it's just about getting onto their level and articulating exactly what their current problem is in a way that they would understand, and then they're going to absorb the knowledge way easier, and then they're more likely to make a decision and book in with you to create that conversion. So yeah, that's a really great point.
Nice. Yep. So to sum up, like we said before, your face is your brand. Try to show up with purpose when you can. Try to stay away from very generic content, a lot of stocky pictures and videos and that sort of thing. It just doesn't work in 2025 anymore. Try to show up on camera, be clear, be authentic, be yourself. Try not to focus too much on what others are doing, what trends are. Just focus on something that's gonna hook. Okay, so the essence of what you're gonna say, and then say what you're gonna say with confidence. Servan, maybe you want to do this little bit if you're still with us. Not sure if she is. Okay.
Something to add with the social media strategy as well. If you have a team, or if you've got staff, or if you've got people who are in clinic or your whatever setting you are, bring them into your social media. When they see somebody having a conversation or somebody just acting in their natural habitat, is that they're more likely than it's there's a lot of like trends out there right now where if your staff get involved, build a profile around the conversations that happen behind the scenes and stuff. People are so behind the scenes content. So that's doing really, really well across all the platforms right now, is conversations, things that go on behind the scenes in between your appointments and things like that. People love to see that kind of stuff because people are nosy. They want to know what and see your personality, right? So that might be something to think about as well.
1000%. Perfect. And then to close, so Servan has put together this little challenge. Okay, so she has kindly agreed to do this prize for a person whose video goes out in the next 3 days and is the best video chosen by Servan. Okay, is going to win a personal branding masterclass ticket on the 16th. Okay, and you have to tag Invictamed to win as well. To tell you a little bit about the masterclass, it's going to be personal branding by Kelly Lundberg. Okay, she's a personal branding expert. She is awesome at what she does. She's going to be sharing all the tips and tricks that she's used all over the years with all of her different clients, and she'll be helping you from kind of ground up if that's where you are, and definitely from intermediate to advanced as well. It's going to be really exciting on the 16th of April. Let me know if anybody's got any questions to close. Me and Poppy will be happy to answer those. Nope.
Can Poppy give her a context, or how can we find her on LinkedIn? Or...
Yeah, so I'm Poppy Owen everywhere. So Instagram is Poppy Owen, LinkedIn Poppy Owen. Very easy to find me. poppyowen.com. That's me. So thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions, anyone?
I have a question. Do you recommend, so I see some people, they recommend like you plan your content like a month ahead. Do you recommend that for us, like to plan ahead and just like have everything ready, at least with the titles, and then just either shoot it at like just a couple of times or one time altogether and then release it during the month, or no?
Poppy, would you like to take that one, or should I? I'm happy to.
I think it depends on your schedule, how you like to create content, what would make you feel good and better for you. I'm very intuitive in terms of when I create content, it's based on the conversations that I've had very, very recently. The reason why I do that is if I have a potential client who is thinking about working with me, booking an appointment, whatever it is, and I had a conversation with them yesterday, and I upload a piece of content today that relates directly to the thing that they were speaking to me about yesterday, and they see it really close together when they've had a conversation with me, they're more likely to make a decision to move forward, because it'll be like, oh, what coincidence. It's like she's in my brain. She's like answering the question that I've just been having, and it makes it more of a coincidence, right? However, if you have a very busy schedule and you don't have a big amount of capacity to create content and then scheduling is great for you. How I would consolidate the ideas is when you're having these conversations or anything that springs to mind, have a note section on your phone, make a list of ideas, and then block out a set of time. I do this when I go into a podcast studio. So I consolidate a list of ideas of things that I want to speak about, and then I'll go into a podcast studio and I'll shoot it for 2 hours. I'll get as much done as possible. That then creates my content for the next 30 days. So it just depends on how you like to work, what's the best fit for you. But in terms of advice, it to work and what your schedule's like.
Thank you.
Could not agree more. Also use AI to help a little bit if you are stuck for ideas. I think if you come up with your own list, like Poppy's mentioned on the notes, it can definitely help to spice it up a little bit with AI.
Yeah, has anyone used AI? Because so if you've used like ChatGPT or anything, what I've done over the last 6 months, 12 months is really taught ChatGPT, my ideal client, everything that I do, everything I put in there so it trains it up so that when I do ask the question of give me a list of top 10 viral ideas in this particular niche and that I can speak about, then it relates directly to my niche, what I do, what I'm an expert in, and my ideal client, and what particular results they want, so that it'll create results based on that. So you really have to train ChatGPT to think like you, or in the concept of your niche. So I would highly recommend. It's great.
100%. Okay,
So,
perfect.
how do you train it? Like giving lots of prompts when you give like an order or something?
Yeah, so when you create an account on ChatGPT, when you go to ask a question, on the bottom right-hand corner of the box, it says add instructions
Mm.
and add information. So in that little section of add information, you can put in everything about your business, everything about your ideal client, what services you provide, what you're an expert in, what knowledge you have, what particular results you want your client desires, and it's like its brain. So that's where all the information is kept based on everything that you do, so that when you go and ask it a question, it will give you answers specifically for your business.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Nice. Awesome. I think that was a really cool session. Thank you so much, Poppy, for joining us as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and well done for showing up and taking notes, and that's determination and moving forward. So awesome to you guys as well for asking all the questions.
Yeah, thanks everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
All
Yeah,
right, thank
perfect.
you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
nice
Thank you
day.
so much. It was really, really interactive and learned a lot of takeaways. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Bye bye.